So the Commanders may have upset Jayden Daniels with his most recent visit to the Commanders. And while he was visiting the Commanders, it wasn't just him. It was J.J. McCartney, it was Drake May, and it was Michael Penix. From what we got from his agent was that he was misled on what was going to happen. And he thought he was just coming to visit the Commanders by himself. But he didn't know he was going to be there with other quarterbacks in the draft. If you think about Jayden Daniels and how he's played in college for 5 years and he really didn't show up and really make a huge impact until his very last year with LSU. So if it wasn't for this last season that he had and him winning the Heisman Trophy, I don't think it would have been too many people putting him in the first round. And I don't think we would have been as high as we are on him because of that. And that's only because when I think about Drake May, right, and I think about the fact that he's put up consistent numbers over the last 2 years, and he's been in the 3,000 range in passing. And then, of course, not only that, but you got J.J. McCartney, a guy who's been on the team where they continue to win, and they also won a national championship. And then you got, and of course, J.J. McCartney, his stats don't just jump off the page. The most touchdowns he's thrown in the season is 22. But when you think about the fact that he's just there and they're winning with just him, it could have been anybody else at quarterback, but they're winning with him. So that plays a role in it. And then you only got 2 years to really go off for J.J. McCartney. And you only really got 2 years to go off with Drake May. And then you got, honestly, 2 years to go off of Michael Penix. Michael Penix, who had his great years with Washington. And that was mostly because when he was with the other team, he wasn't able to stay healthy. So he really couldn't show what he can do in the 4 years worth of time. So with him being in Washington, it really showed what he can do. You see that he's thrown over 4,000 yards, almost reaching 5,000 yards this last season. And I think by him also going to a national championship really has shown his growth, one. And two, it's just shown that, you know, he can continue through a lot of adversity and injuries. So, and then another thing that really pushed his draft stock from being probably second round or early third round is the fact that he ran at his pro day. So kind of put Jayden Daniels on the same pedestal as those guys, even though he has a Heisman winning trophy. I think the thing that really makes him stand out is the fact that he ran 1,000 yards. He won a Heisman Trophy. And then to be in a SEC division, the top division at that, is another thing that we look at. So I think that's one thing that has really put him high in the draft. But because of the past and previous years, that's one thing that you kind of got to think and step back for a second and say, hold on, wait now. Let's not make the same mistake we did with Dwayne Haskins. You know, you see one good year and then you go get him. And of course, that is a plus at the same time, because you can be like Joe Burrow, for example, and have a great year, great last year, and he still does great in the NFL. But I can see why they would group together for the 30 visit. But I do see the other side where it's like, okay, that was disrespectful. You know, you didn't let me know that that was going to happen beforehand. And then now that it happened, you can't be mad at me that I'm mad. You know, you can't be mad that my agent felt like we were disrespected, because we were. That's how we felt. And this could mean that Jayden Daniels could feel a certain way about the team and not want to come here. Of course, he can do that. But does that mean that we're not going to still get him at 2, seeing though that Adam Peters said he feels comfortable in the spot that he's in? And when I hear that, it makes me think that the fact that we're not trading back makes me feel like we're still getting Jayden Daniels. We're probably going to have to do a lot of apologizing and, you know, probably add a few more incentives or less incentives to his contract, or give him a little bit more money, or whatever the case may be. But I still feel like we're getting Jayden Daniels, seeing as he's the next best thing to Caleb Williams. But to still stay at 2, knowing that it's a possibility that you may draft a guy way too high, or knowing that you may lose the opportunity to get Jayden Daniels if you move back. It just makes me feel like we're getting Jayden Daniels still. It's still a chance, still an opportunity. But it doesn't matter sometimes. Like, teams can say they're going to get you and not get you. Teams can say they're not going to get you and get you. Certain teams, like the Cowboys, when Jalen Ramsey was in the draft and he didn't get picked up by them, and they promised that they were going to go get him if he was still on the board, and they ended up getting Ezekiel Elliott. So things like that happen, and you'll have teams that come all the way up, like the Chiefs, and go get Patrick Mahomes with the 10th overall pick. But you don't know what's going to happen, and sometimes players go to teams they still don't want to go to, but because they don't have the same pool that Eli Manning has. Everybody doesn't have that pull to say, no, I'm not going there. And then even if you say it, don't mean it's going to happen. You still don't run nothing. An NFL team wants you and they pick you, you're going to the team no matter what. You can refuse to play. You can refuse to do any of the workouts. You can refuse it all. But just know, if they want you, they want you. And I just think once we get Jayden Daniels, I think they'll explain to him why they did what they did. But it seems like Jayden Daniels may want to go where his old head coach for Arizona State, his old assistant head coach, which was Antonio Pierce, he may want to go to the Raiders, seeing as though he's a head coach. But look how far back the Raiders are. I don't see Jayden Daniels going past us. And if he does go past us, do you think the next team is going to go past him? And then you think the next team after that is going to go? It's so many teams ahead of the Raiders where I don't even see it possible for them to even get Jayden unless they trade up a lot. So we're going to see what happens. And, you know, I appreciate everybody who's been helping me get to this 1,000 subscribers. I'm almost there. I appreciate y'all. And, you know, we're going to keep going up. And definitely thumbs up the video, share it. Let me know how y'all feel about this situation. Do you think it's over for Jayden Daniels? Do you think we still got an opportunity to get him? Or do you think we should go with somebody else? And, of course, we can go with a guy like Drake May, but so many people keep saying he needs to sit. We can go with a Michael Penix, but his past injuries is making it a little scary. And then we can also go with Jayden Daniels, but so many people feel like he's going to be a huge risk. He's going to be another RG3, and he's going to end our season short, and we're going to be trading him in the next 2 or 3 years. And then you have people that feel like we should go out and get J.J. McCarthy. And that's the very last person on the pedestal that we feel like we may get. And that's just because we just haven't seen enough from him, like, to really say, like, okay, he's that guy. But who knows what they've seen on this 30 visit. But we're going to find out on draft day next week. So I'm out.